Thanks so much for coming today. It's a lot of doom and gloom, I know that you're hearing. We're living it every day. But it's nice to have individuals that come up that are going to learn a little bit about the process and what actually has been going on here, and it's not our fault. I want to say that one other committee I sit on is Higher Ed, and we're talking about consolidations, and that's been really true in public safety and Higher Ed, both committees which I sit on. And then transportation, of course, with the tolls. And my district comprises the west side of Danbury and part of Fairfield. So I'm the one that's lucky that has the problem when the way station has an issue, the toll has an issue, and Western Connecticut has an issue. And all of those have been addressed this year in various committees. I won't get into the budget because I know you've heard from a lot of my colleagues specifically on the budget and the shortfalls and the spending. But I will address some of the other issues. John alluded to the tolls and the impact that it would have on our area, because we're such a regional area, and people shop regionally, they live regionally, and so when people come in from Southeast, they come to not only to the mall, but they're going to Stu Leonard's, they go up to Costco, they go to Lowe's, they go to Home Depot. Do you think they're going to do that if they're going to have to pay a toll every time they come through? Our areas also are commuters. They're all going over to the Southeast or Brewster train stations. You're going to pay a toll every day when you're going to go. So that's an issue. It has real repercussions on that. And they can say, okay, well, we'll make it easy for people to get through the tolls. But if anybody looks at the traffic, because I actually have exits 1 through 6 on 84, address the consolidation, the reorganization that they were talking about for WestCon, the impact of reorganizing the state university system with the community colleges with Charter Oak has huge repercussions for our students and our faculties. I've been at WestCon with Dr. Schmatter, I've been there meeting with the students, met with the professors, we've had the students here. They have a tremendous advocacy group that comes out of WestCon and keep really apprised of the issues that are going on. So fortunately, Higher Ed has put forth their own committee bill that just addresses the Connecticut State University system. Not only because we've heard that they're raising tuitions for the state university system at 2.5%, but it's also the financial impact on operating. And you have to look at our universities, and even though they're all state universities, they don't all have the same identity. They don't all have the same mission. They all have something a little bit special. And our kids go there because of that special piece that they have. And you hear from the students on what has meant so much to them at these universities. And WestCon has grown so much. WestCon has been fiscally very responsible. Now, should they take the same cut that maybe 3 other universities who haven't been as fiscally responsible are going to take? Because for them, the impact is governors put forth a budget. And if you want to look at it as an outline with headers, he's got some good ideas when you're talking about the headers. But when you're getting to the bottoms of it, there's so many problems with it. And it's not only from our side, but the other side is having issues not wanting to pass out his budget out of their committees because of the impact. They haven't looked at the ramifications of a lot of what they're proposing is going to have on residents. To address a little bit with the housing, until the housing market turns around, there's not going to be any growth in this state. And I know at the forum, I mentioned it, my husband is a small businessman, is an excavation contractor. I mean, 2 years ago it came to a screeching halt for us because we build in Ridgefield and New Canaan. And there's not much. This year we've seen a little bit, but not too much. But there's so many people unemployed, and those individuals don't get unemployment compensation. And so you have such a tremendous impact of those people that when you have sheetrockers that have 50 people that are down to 2 employees, or you've got painters and plumbers, and you just think of all the individuals that live in our communities that perform these functions. They're not performing these functions anymore, and they're not able to go out and spend money. The houses aren't moving. You're seeing, maybe in a much lower range, the larger houses are sitting there. They're just not going anywhere. People aren't moving into the state because we're not business friendly.